In the summer of 2018, I had the opportunity to take part in a 6-week development internship in the occupied Palestinian territory, the West Bank. The West Bank is a landlocked territory located near the eastern Mediterranean, bordered by Jordan to the east and by the Green Line separating it and Israel on the south, west, and north. Some background on the political situation. The occupation of Palestine by Israel has been going on for decades, where the indigenous territory and people are experiencing a settler colonial government that is continuing to unlawfully seize land, all while violently mistreating and policing the Palestinians within that territory. My arrival to the West Bank was a bit challenging. There is no official airport in the West Bank, and only in Tel Aviv, Israel. Since I have Palestinian citizenship, Palestinians are not allowed to fly into and have access to pass through the Israeli territories due to the political context. So most of the time, Palestinians fly and land into the neighboring country of Jordan, where they then drive from the capital city of Amman into the West Bank. Arrived to Amman, Jordan, I got in a shared taxi with other people who were heading to the West Bank. It's about an hour to 2-hour drive from the capital to the Jordanian Allenby Bridge. I then had to pass through 3 checkpoints, whereafter I was then granted entry into the occupied Palestinian territories. I have been entering into Palestine this way for most of my life. I find the entire procedure to be complex, crooked, exasperating, and overall a struggling and irrational way to allow access to those people who just want to go inside their homeland. Lifetime experiences at the Jordanian West Bank border speak for a larger point due to the ongoing occupation of the Palestinian land and people. The way Palestinians are treated right before they enter the region is as if they were never part of the land, that they have to go through 3 checkpoints that takes up so much time and effort to simply have entry into the place they call home has become complicating and pressuring for Palestinians. Through my experiences and studies, I've noticed that the reasons why Israel creates such an inadequate, informal, and lengthy process for Palestinians is to constantly belittle them through unjustifiable treatment and unapologetic force. I believe Israel implements such perplexing policies towards Palestinians to often wrongfully remind them that not only can they colonize the land, but they can also colonize their mind, and try to make them feel lesser and hopeless. They also continue to illegitimately reveal that just because their regime is dominant and backed by wealth, that then the Palestinian is seen and treated as fragile, non-existent, and irrelevant, so they should just give up in every part of their life. But, from what I've noticed, Palestinians are persistent on their resistance towards Israel in order to exist and survive, and are in a constant struggle for their liberation throughout the nation. Whenever I would find myself feeling overwhelmed, I would take walks around the streets of Palestine, whether it was in the city of Ramallah or Bethlehem. These walks always gave me a sense of modesty, satisfaction, and peace for the simple fact that I was in the land where my mother and father were raised, and the land that has shaped a large part of my identity. It's passionate and frustrating to witness what is happening all through Palestine, from the West Bank to Gaza, as I have met and spoke with so many amazing Palestinians throughout my time there. I had the privilege in meeting and getting to know the locals, was invited into the homes of people for coffee and tea, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Through my experience, I have noticed that the Palestinians are incredibly humble, generous, and friendly, and are willing to help you at any time with anything, and they simply don't deserve what is happening to them. Following, I want to point out the often misrepresentations of the Middle East and the people within. The region is usually depicted by Western media as this place filled with people who are irrational, violent, extremists, and overall are discriminating the culture, when in reality it is nothing like how it is portrayed. To say that all those who live in the Middle East are all Muslims is false, as the region is filled with people from all kinds of religious backgrounds, whether it is Islam, Christianity, or Judaism. Through my experiences in the many countries that I had the privilege in visiting around the Middle East, I can say that my experience with the culture and people were welcoming, inspiring, and relieving. I walked around the streets of Turkey, Morocco, Egypt, Jordan, and Palestine with a sense of pride and joy, eager to learn more about the various cultures that fill the streets and the diversity within and among each country. The places I have gone to and the people I have met throughout my travels has broadened my perspective on how I view the Middle East and has given me hope and optimism for the future of the region. The hope that by seeing all those people who choose to study or travel to the Middle East can witness and experience the true essence of the region for what it is, a historical, diverse, and fruitful place filled with genuine, empathetic, and selfless people who are no different than you and I.